Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports George Daily, presented by the Bears Casino. Ronnie Rance, Tommy Krysan, TK on this Friday edition, joining us over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. I'm at an undisclosed location presented by Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
Hey, speaking of the Sports Hall of Fame, I renewed my team membership. I do it every November, so I'm a member of the team. And go to lasportshall.com, and anybody out there can become a member of the team. I've done it for a couple of years now. You get a nice shirt, a cup, whatever, and you're helping support the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. So my membership actually renewed like yesterday. It's an
I
automatic
appreciate.
annual renewal thing.
Yeah, you can do it annually. You can do it monthly, as low as $10 a month. You can be a part of the team. So appreciate Tommy doing that. lasportshall.com, lasportshall.com. And we go check out the golf tournament, the celebrity golf tournament that we have November 16th, 17th. That's going to be happening in a few weeks. We got some individual spots, team spots available. Um, all right, TK, and then the stories of the week. Obviously, tomorrow, LSU and Alabama, 6:30. We've been waiting a couple of weeks since they played. Seems like they played a month ago. We fired a coach, an athletic director. We've hired a president, hired a chancellor. We took the temporary tag off of the athletic director for 24 hours. Then we put it back on, then we took it off. I mean, yeah, and now we're gonna Frank Wilson's get a chance to lead the Tigers to battle against the Alabama Crimson Tide tomorrow night, 6:30. Everybody looking forward to that. LSU finds themselves a 9.5 point dog, and the over under is 49.5 on this game. Where are you as far as those two bets go? What are you gonna do?
I mean, I think I gotta take Bama and lay the 9.5. Although there's a lot of people I've talked to this week that say, hey, there could be a little juice in that locker room, a little juice on the sidelines with Frank Wilson taking over, and these guys, and we don't know if some of them checked out a little bit because of Kelly. We don't know, and that doesn't matter. What matters is tomorrow night, and a lot of people, I've got some people thinking, hey, I'm taking the 9.5 and gonna, think that at least they'll keep it close, have a shot. But I don't know. Neither team can run the ball, so it's gonna be all about big plays or chunk plays. Or turnovers will be more of a case than some games. But I don't know. Bama at home, what were they? They were fourth in the college football playoff rankings. I just think Bama's going to win the game. LSU, it might be tight at half, then I think Bama might separate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bet the game because again, I hardly ever bet Alabama LSU games, just because I don't want to, I don't want LSU to win or lose or I don't know. In this case, I guess if I was going to bet one, this would be the one. I personally would buy the 0.5 point and take LSU plus 10. That's what I would do. Um, I know a lot of true gamblers don't like buying that half, but I would. I'd buy the half and take LSU plus 10. Again, Alabama, like a lot of teams, um, have played their opponents close. And I think everyone is more mortal around college football than they used to be. And again, I like the 2 weeks off and the opportunity to run a few different plays that they're not necessarily prepared for. Um, but that'll be exciting to watch. Speaking of the SEC, Alabama, one of four teams that came out earlier this week in the playoffs, in the rankings. Did you agree with that? Did you think that, all four got in? Was there anybody missing? What do you think as far as SEC goes?
Well, I agree with the four. It's Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, 3, 4, 5, 6. You had Ohio State, one, Indiana, two. I agree with those four. I think that's the four right now. I mean, things can change, but that's the four right now that I think would be in the playoff if it started tomorrow morning. But it's not going to start tomorrow morning. And, they all got a little business to take care of. Ole Miss probably has the easiest schedule going forward when you look at all of those
No doubt.
schedules. And then you got A&M, are they going to become A&M again like they did for countless years when they were, 8-0, 9-1, and then all of a sudden they lose 2 or 3. So, but Ronnie, college football's different. We know that. We've said that. Everybody knows that. I mean, there's not that idea that this team's just going to be better than everybody every week with the portal, with NIL. We know the reasons, but I agreed with that playoff ranking. But then also they come out as most years that initial ranking is not very accurate. And I think it'll be less accurate this year just because the unknown, the unexpected, and the twists and turns in the world of college football.
Yeah, I definitely I think I agree with you. Ole Miss has the easier path. A&M is at Missouri this week, which I was impressed with A&M what they did to LSU, and they're for real. Plus, they had a week off to prepare. The thing about the Missouri game is the little oogie that it's 11 a.m. That you never like to play on the road early in the morning. That definitely benefits the home team tremendously most cases. So that one's a little bit scary if you're an A&M fan. Plus, you're used to waiting for the shoe to drop. But I definitely get a different vibe around this A&M team, so I'm buying A&M. Um, uh, Georgia and Alabama are two blue bloods that uh, may get the benefit of the doubt if they were to drop maybe one more game as far as sneaking into the 12, just because Georgia and Alabama being in the playoffs is good for college football. But they don't have as much margin for error as maybe they have had in the past. Um, we move on to the New Orleans Saints. Big news this week. We've had trades. Saints obviously going with Shuck again at quarterback. And they're on the road this week against Cal. Let you talked about some of the trades. They're on the road this week at Carolina, getting 5.5 points. Carolina is not your Carolina that we thought they would be before the season. They're much better than that. They've been probably one of the surprise of the NFC South. Um, I would have to take Carolina minus 5.5. There's nothing the Saints have done to lead me to believe that, they've turned a corner.
I agree 100%. I'd have to take Carolina and lay that money. Might even take the under. It's a low number, well, kind of low, 39.5.
No, that is
I
low.
might, yeah, I mean, I just don't think the Saints can score more than 14 points. I mean, 14 or 13, I think they're high end. And if Carolina scores 24, you're under. So I don't know. It's just, like you said, that you've got no reason to believe the Saints are going to all of a sudden come out guns ablazing and win on the road against Carolina, who you correctly stated is better this year than anybody anticipated.
Well, and then the New Orleans Saints traded Shaheed, one of their few weapons that they have, to Seattle for a fourth and a fifth round pick. They got rid of Penning, the disappointing offensive lineman who's been hampered by injury and just inconsistency. And then you get a sixth round pick for a guy who was a first round pick that you gave up picks to move up to take. Let's just forget about that, move on. But the fact that you kept some other. I would love to know the True Hollywood story behind the scenes, Tommy, on how much did the Saints try to trade a Kamara or a Davis or anyone, a Rattler? How much did they try to trade them? And did they try, or was there just not a good enough offer made? You know what I mean? Like, the Saints thought, let's just say Kamara was worth a two, and they only got offered a six or something like that. I would
Well,
love to know that.
I would too, and I think all of them scenarios were part of it. Now, trades are trades and negotiation, and what one team thinks fair, the other team doesn't think fair, etc. So I would hope that the situation the Saints are in, and they explored all those options. I mean, they need draft picks, they need players, and or get a trade to get a young player that they maybe had high on their board a year or two ago that they really think can play. But the Saints are a mess. There's no other way to describe it.
Um, and look, if you ask the coaching staff, they're going to tell you keep the players, right? I mean, if you ask their head coach, he doesn't want you to get rid of those pieces because he knows you start getting rid of too many pieces, he's staring down the barrel of being pretty bad next year. And in the NFL, you go, 3 and 14, and next year go 5 and 12. You're not gonna be coaching your third year. So,
Right.
obviously that there's that. Um, okay, so the Saints at Carolina, LSU at Alabama. Pelicans don't look now; they've won 2 in a row. Tommy, must be something to announcing that Zion Williamson is out 7 to 10 days minimally, and all of a sudden the Pels go, we don't need them, and they win 2 in a row.
Yeah, they've won two in a row. A road win against Dallas, a decent team the other night. They're staying in Texas. They play the Spurs tomorrow night. Hadn't seen a line yet. But in my TK bet 82 times against the Pelicans, I'm now 5-3. Update everybody on that. I'm betting the spread. I'm taking the other team and I'm laying whatever or taking points, whatever that is going to be. I'm going to do it 82 times and then we'll see how that works out for the year. 5-3 right now. So couple of bucks up right now. Long way to go.
LSU basketball won and covered the other night against what Tarleton State. They have a game. Are they playing tonight, Tommy?
Monday. They
Their
host
next game's not
UNO
till
Monday.
Monday. Okay.
They host the Privateers of UNO.
UNO, one of the more intriguing stories of the first week of college basketball. They went on the road to TCU, who was ranked in the initial top 25 rankings, and won at TCU. But the story about UNO winning is not just the story alone. The story is it comes on the backs of UNO's athletic department getting a little influx of cash. They got about $7 million for their athletic department under the guise from the state of helping to grow, helping facilities because their facilities could be justified to be used for underprivileged kids and in that area. So I think it was a little bit of a, underprivileged kids, whatever we got to say on that paperwork to get the funds released, right? Um, but UNO, like a lot of teams that Andrew Luck's the general manager of the Stanford Cardinals football team. Johnny Giavotella, former big leaguer, is the general manager of the UNO baseball team. Well, Master P, the rapper, that guy, make you say, na 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 na. Master P from New Orleans is the general manager of the UNO Privateers. You heard it right. I mean, that story came out months and months ago. But because UNO went on the road first game of the year and beat a ranked team in TCU, people are going, "What's going on down there with UNO?" And now they're discovering, if they didn't pay attention, the story of Master P, which is an incredible one. And Master P is not, he's put a lot of his own blood, sweat, and tears into this. He's raising money. He's put up some of his own money. He's upgraded their locker rooms, their light sound system, and all that in the arena. They want to. He's tapping into friends and making calls to get people to come to UNO basketball games. Tommy, this could not have started any better for UNO for a program that's trying to get some juice, trying to get some attention, trying to create some revenue. They did it with Master P, being general manager, got them some headlines in the paper, got them some clicks. But that could just be a nice story that goes away. And for them to right out the bat win a road game like that against a big time Power Four school, that's impressive.
Well, I don't know if you saw it. Coming back under the LSU system. It used to be LSU NO. When I was a kid, it was LSU University, Louisiana State University, New Orleans, kind of like University of California, Los Angeles is UCLA. Well, and I saw some mock-ups. They may even change the colors to purple and gold. And I'm not a fan of that because I grew up in New Orleans and the blue and silver, the Privateers. And in fact, real quick funny story: when I was first playing college baseball, everybody either had white cleats or black cleats. All right. And I remember UNO was the first team I saw. They came out with them old blue Converse, which matched their baby blue uniforms and everything. And remember thinking like blue cleats. What's that? Everybody in the world had white or black. You might have stripes on them, or you might have painted them a little bit. But anyway, I would hope they don't change the colors, but that's not up to me. But UNO's got a decent tradition, certainly in baseball, years ago in basketball, and we'll just see if they can't make some good things happen down there on the lakefront in New Orleans.
Yeah, no, good story. And look, UNO going to be taking on LSU in Baton Rouge on Monday night. Be interesting. I'll be at that one. You got Coach McMahon in a very crucial year for LSU from a standpoint of most people think if he doesn't make a postseason tournament this year, there could be a coaching change. And then here comes this upstart program UNO and nothing to lose. So I don't think Coach McMahon thought when he had UNO coming to town that he was going to have to sweat it like he is now. So second game of the year, UNO could really make a name for themselves even more in the state of Louisiana. They go knock off LSU and Baton Rouge, and McMahon could put himself squarely on the hot seat if he loses to UNO in the second game of the year.
I'll be
All right,
curious
the
to
other
someone.
story.
I'm curious to see the line on LSU. I know it's not out yet. We'll get it probably Sunday, and we'll talk about it Monday morning on Sports Yours Daily. But I'm curious when UNO's road win against a ranked team, and LSU crushed Tarleton State. So I don't know. It might be an entertaining game for everybody.
I'm going to say LSU 5.5. That's just the initial thought.
Okay,
Um,
well,
Verge Osbury, let's talk about that for a minute. He's in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's temporary, he's permanent. The interesting week because Wade Roos, the new president, within 24 hours stepped in it a little bit with some of his comments. Wasn't quite clear what he meant, or maybe he was clear what he meant, and then it got corrected. But with the first day he's named the president on Tuesday, he named Verge Osbury the permanent, the athletic director, took the temporary interim tag off. And so we're like, okay, here we go. And then 24 hours later, he's doing some interviews and he says, well, we're going to evaluate. We took the tag off, but we're going to evaluate. And I don't really know who he is. I just met him. And then the next day, he's like, whoa, no. I misspoke. He is the athletic director. So I don't think, it's an odd situation. Um, I'll go back to what I said on Wednesday. If Verge Osbury is your athletic director, and they've split the president um, and the chancellor role, which they have, then to me, Varge Osbury, yes, he may be head athletic director in title, but he's really an assistant athletic director, and Wade Roos is the athletic director. And what I mean by that is he's the one that's going to do the pencil. He's the one that's going to make sure, finances and all that. I mean, that's his background. A guy was Fed chair, and he's the one that balanced the budget and put him in the black at McNeese. I see him doing that for the athletic department. And probably signing off on any major changes like hirings and firings of coaches.
yeah, I think he'll be a little more involved than the previous president, no question about that. And his background tells us that. And he did good things for McNeese and Lake Charles in Southwest Louisiana there, especially financially. So we'll see how that goes. But it's still kind of crazy days at LSU because then the coach search is going to, it's going to end up having something crazy happen. Somebody's going to get offered the job, turn it down, or somebody's going to be rumored, and that's the other thing. So many rumors out there. Just consider the source, and I'm going to use Ronnie's famous line: "Let it play out. You'll find out when you find out who the next football coach will be at LSU."
Outside of Marcus Freeman or Lane Kiffin, I don't know that I really even care. Really, I mean, if it's Marcus Freeman or Lane Kiffin, I'm, oh yeah, all right, yeah, I feel really confident that I'm getting a proven guy, a tried and true guy, a guy that's going to 100% be successful at LSU. Like that's how I feel about those two picks. Outside of that, I'm not saying we're not going to find the next Nick Saban or have a really good coach and win and all that. It just doesn't move my wow meter. The next coach is just the next coach outside of those two.
Well, the two guys that I like that names have surfaced, and who knows what'll happen. I like Drinkwitz at Missouri, and I like Brom at Louisville. Young, offensive-minded guys that have done good things at their respective schools, and football guys. I mean, the whole bit. But again, Burge doesn't care what I think, but I think one of those two would have a good chance to succeed at LSU.
Brom, I'll tell you a story. I went and watched him play. Louisville played in the Fiesta Bowl. He was the quarterback. Did they play Penn State? I don't know why I think Penn State. It probably wasn't. I can't remember who. I have to go back and look, Tommy. Tommy, Google while we're talking. Fiesta Bowl 1991. 1991 Fiesta Bowl, which would be January 1, 1991, I believe. No, 1990. Well, no. See what you got as far as Fiesta Bowl 1990 and 1991. Louisville played somebody.
I tried to look it up by putting Brom's name in there. I'm gonna put up Fiesta Bowl,
I mean,
Louisville.
Louisville played in the Fiesta Bowl 1990 or 1991. He was the
91.
quarterback.
They
Okay.
played in the Fiesta
And
Bowl,
he was the MVP, I think.
1991. I got it right here. In Arizona, they played Alabama and beat them
Oh, wow.
34-7. The 1991 the Sunkist Fiesta Bowl. They went in there 9-1-1. Alabama was 7-4, and they won 34-7. Did Louisville scored 25 points in the first quarter with Brom at quarterback?
Yeah, he was the MVP. I was at that game with my family. We That was 1991, Tommy. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yes.
So I had graduated high school in 1990, May of 90. Went and lived out in Phoenix that summer. My family had moved there the year before. I lived away my senior year, and then that summer went back out there. Then was at LSU in the fall of 90. Went home for the Christmas holidays like you do for a couple weeks, and went to a Fiesta Bowl game with my family. And we had club seats, which wasn't like inside or anything. It was just underneath. I remember like it was the first time I'd ever been in club seats, Tommy, where free food was included. Like what? All you can eat food. It was a
And
big
now
deal,
that's the only place you sit, right?
right? That's it. That's it.
Except at Vanderbilt.
Except
Except
at
at
Vandy.
Vanderbilt. Okay,
Vandy and
Vanderbilt.
Clemson. I'm next to the band, baby. All right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's as we get out of here.
Well, Thanksgiving's around the corner. They got the tradition here with the turkeys fried, smoked or rotisserie. You can order them online. You can stop by, order today. They're taking orders now, online, on the phone. Stop by today at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Get that turkey ordered, all the side dishes, the dessert. Go to Tremonti's.com. You can order lunch today online too, and they'll deliver it to you. Tremonti's.com. You got to check it out. Hit them up on Facebook or Instagram. You'll get all the information. All right, don't forget to like and share this show. That helps us all a lot. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning with Ronnie Rance and myself and Joel Davis and Hunter McCann. That'll be tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 on ESPN Radio, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles. I'm Tommy Chrysam. You hope that you have a really nice Friday. We'll talk to you again tomorrow morning on the radio.